Hello, 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 hello. Hello. We are live. I'm very excited about today. We will be joined by Monica and Lily. Hello, Gil. How is it? I hope you guys had a happy new year. Hello, Jamie. Hello, Jamie Fong. Hello, Chase. Yes, hello to everybody. Wow, a lot of people joining us today. That's great. One of your favorite all-time episodes is the can opener. Hello, hello, Teresa. Hello, Chase. It's our Everybody Loves Raymond Sunday family. Hello, Abby. Hello. Yes, let's see. We have so many people. Let's see. Now, if Lily and Monica are watching, please be sure that you are on your phone because it won't work on a computer. Hello, Leo. Toronto. Is Amy really coming on? Yes. I think so. I hope so. Yes. Yeah, we're going to get to the bottom of the can opener episode. I hope everybody has had a fun time. Let's see. Monica can join. So, hello, Mary. Is it Mary Carpo? Oh, hold on. Wow. Hello,
Hi,
guys.
Tom. I'm going to put some makeup
Let me just
on.
see. Hold on. Do I hear you guys?
Ireland. Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Hi, Tom.
I got to fix my hair how I like it.
Monica.
Glasses.
Hi, Tom.
A lot of times when people do an international appearance, they fix their hair before.
I'm very busy. I had a lot of dishes. I had Philip bringing me some raw, what was it? Rotten fruit.
He's not happy.
Looking very upset about it.
Okay.
Because it's her fault.
I don't want to be presumptuous. Maybe you have a bigger appearance after this, so you use this to prep for that appearance. It could be, yeah. Maybe Kimmel or something tomorrow. I don't want to be presumptuous. Hi, Lily.
Hi, Tom.
Now let's, just because we know everything about you guys, about your relationship with your friend / husband Philip Rosenthal, who is the creator of Everybody Loves Raymond. And I wanted to focus on the can opener episode, but
yes.
Somebody's writing, who's that pretty girl? That's Monica, yes. Hello. Wow. So I'm just going to give a real brief background because, and then I'll let you take it from there. But a lot of people are surprised that when I started this, a lot of people didn't know who Phil was. Right. And all of a sudden you're in the cast, and then it's like, how are you related to Phil? You're married to Phil, but you were an actress, and he knew you not as a girlfriend. He knew you as an actress he had seen prior to doing anything romantic with you. So
yes,
yeah,
but not during Raymond. Long time before Raymond, 1986.
Right. So 10 years before
10
Raymond.
years before. Right. Oh, I didn't even realize that.
He saw you in a play, I believe. Yeah, and so I just wanted
Yes, he saw me in a play. So
yeah.
I went to Hofstra University, and when I graduated in 1984, and then after we graduated, you're struggling, you're doing day jobs, you're trying to get an agent, you're trying to audition. After the second year, so by 1985, we formed our own theater company. So my one friend, Tom Donaghy, wrote the play. Another friend, Kevin Kane, directed the play. And then all my other buddies, we were in the play. And we all put in $100 to produce it in a little theater downtown. Philip came to see that play because he was the star of Hofstra before I got there.
Hofstra Theater.
What theater?
Not just all of Hofstra, but
all of Hofstra. Because he did program board. He ran the movies, so he was kind of really popular because he did the movies. Anyway, so he came to see me Not me. He came to see my friends in the play. And then after seeing that play, he said to the stage manager, who was my friend Elise Barbell, my college roommate,
It's my favorite part.
that tell that girl she's really funny.
Funny.
I know.
And
So-
then
What a choice of
2
words.
weeks later at the 9th Avenue Food Fair, we run into each other with all the friends. Thank you. I think it's a beautiful name too now. I didn't when I was little, but anyway. So
She's
but now I
reading the
love it.
comments as she
So-
goes.
so-
So just so you know.
The 9th Avenue Food Fair, I run into him and he says, I'm a big fan of yours. And I knew all my friends from college had told me what a talented actor he was. So I didn't know what to say. I was embarrassed. So I said, oh, I'm a big fan of yours too.
So the whole marriage was based on a lie
'Cause
because
I'd never
she
seen
had
him.
never seen him in anything.
But he really just
Oh.
wanted to recommend me for a play. So we ended up doing a play together and the rest is history. We did that play with Tom McGowan and Susan Barron, also on Everybody Loves Raymond.
Thank you for your answer.
Tom McGowan was Bernie,
Yes.
played Bernie on Everybody Loves Raymond, and Susan Barron was in she played an actress, a waitress.
A waitress.
In Nemo's.
Nemo's. Brilliant actors.
So
both.
then I'm just going to, just because this, before we get to the can opener, we had an episode of Raymond called Who's Handsome, I believe it was, and somebody, not your husband, recommended you for the job.
Steve
Steve
Scrovan.
Scrovan.
Yes,
Oh, shout out to Steve Scrovan.
and so I remember I was in a room and Scro says, what about Monica for this part? And I don't remember. I know Phil wasn't like, that's great, let's use her. I know he was like, really? Because now,
Yeah, that's awkward. Yeah.
well, it doesn't have to do with talent, but now he has to see you at home and at work, and it's just,
Little much.
Little much, especially Monica.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you-
personality.
It actually saved them.
save the marriage. Yeah. Well, we'll get to that.
Not for the reasons you think. Not because I was such an ambitious actor,
Got it. Yeah. So
but because of Philip's personality.
oh boy, this is going out to the world.
Yeah, they're in.
there are.
They're in an argument
It's
similar
not
to the
therapy?
can opener
Yeah.
right
So-
now. So,
Well,
So-
I'm in an argument. He's not.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any idea.
but that's like the can opener. I mean, you were venting to your friend Susan Van Allen, right?
Well-
And he had no idea that it was a big argument.
Yeah.
Well, let's not jump ahead. For one second. So now you get on the show, Lily. I was going to say, Monica, did you and Phil have any children? But I guess, let me see, Lily, what are you doing?
What?
Hi, Susan,
Hi, I'm
Susan.
here.
Susan Van Allen, writer of the
Hi.
episode.
Hi, Susan.
I wanted her to come on, but Lily said you can only do one other person.
No, and Susan, now that you're watching, I would love to have you come on another time. And yes, if this was a Zoom call, we would have Susan. We would have as many people who wanted to come on.
Yes,
but
okay.
but it can't. It unfortunately can't happen with Instagram Live at least. Thank you, Lily, for telling your mother that. So now, Monica, I think your hair looks good.
I want it to
She
be fluffier.
keeps
I want it.
fixing it.
There's a shape I would like. I trimmed my own hair in COVID.
She's been doing everyone's hair, like my
Yeah,
cousins,
I cut
Ben.
Philip's hair.
Yeah.
Yes.
I cut Ben's
Yeah.
hair.
And do you charge them for the hair or no?
With their
a
soul.
hug.
All right. So now, Lily, just because a lot of people haven't seen you that often, you're their youngest child, the daughter. Ben is
That is me.
Yeah. And Lily,
Thank
you were very small when the show started. As a matter of fact, you weren't
Yes.
born yet.
I was born in season 2, at the beginning of season 2.
Because guess what? My very first episode, Who's Handsome, I was pregnant with Lily and I didn't know it.
Oh.
That was
We
my
did the
debut.
math. Yes.
Wow. So you were on the show, Lily, but you were really small. Okay. So now, this is great. So now we set the table. You're an actress. You're on the show. You and Philip are married. We're into, where is Patty Heaton? Patty Heaton is in Los Angeles. So you, the show is going. Yeah. Random questions. Love your character on the show.
Thank you.
That's from Pam. Crawford. So now, I want to set the table a little bit. Phil is not known for his culinary skills. Like, he doesn't whip up food. There is nobody I know who loves food more than Phil. And for those of you that haven't seen it yet, watch Somebody Feed Phil on Netflix, because
you'll love it.
Yeah, you will fall in love with food and with Phil. So Phil loves food so much that the name of his company was Where's Lunch on Everybody Loves Raymond. So when you watch the end of Everybody Loves Raymond, you see Where's Lunch and a plate of food comes out. Phil loves food more than anybody. And Phil, of all the writers, I would say, cooks the least of anybody that I know.
Yes, growing up, he would always be like, does anybody want Daddy's favorite bowl of cereal? Does anybody want, sorry, not favorite, famous. Daddy's favorite, why do I keep saying favorite?
It's very tense on Instagram Live. We're very goofy. We're goofy people. All right.
But anyway, he didn't really cook anything. So Phil's famous whatever was anything very simple that could be made with 2 ingredients. So not a big cook. Continues to not be a big cook.
And what were Phil's famous dishes? Cereal and milk?
Cereal and milk, peanut butter and jelly, eggs, just fried though, nothing fancy to the eggs.
My famous was grilled cheese. It was Mommy's favorite.
Well, you actually made food. That's so weird. So you actually made a lot of food growing up. He never did. But one of the things was his famous tuna fish sandwich. He loved a tuna sandwich. So,
and that's what he would make for himself. All right, I have so many things I want to say. You know what?
Do you?
Yeah. So now we've set the table that, because look, in America at least, because we're going around the world, men will barbecue at least. So I don't want to make a generalization, but if men don't cook, they'll at least barbecue. And now a lot more men cook than this is 25 years ago. We're almost talking, right?
I know, right?
Yeah, it's a long time.
Man.
So you had some men who cooked. Phil didn't cook. We just established that. So now we're in season 3. I want to say season 3, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, 4. Wait, of what? What are we
Raymond.
talking about?
Of Raymond. I'm saying the show is going on.
The episode, yeah.
Yes. It was season 4. The episode we're talking
right.
about.
So
but we were in season 3 in life.
Right.
Yes.
So then now Phil's not a cook.
I love that you keep saying it.
He comes into the writer's room. Well, it's relevant because
It is.
Phil comes into the writer's room one day to the writers. And of course, we know you very well because many of the, this is now, because it's later on, we've all gotten to know each other. Yeah.
So Susan, okay, go ahead.
Yes.
No,
by the way, Susan Van Allen, who wrote the episode with Aaron Shore. Susan, I looked for your thing to tag you. And I wasn't sure if it was the right one.
Van Allen. Because it's not Susan.
Yeah, because I spell that Susan. Hello,
because
Susan.
also all her travel, it's so ironic that both Philip and Susan now have entered that world of travel, entertainment, travel writing, travel business. Just saying. And her main focus is Italy. And Susan, we can put it in the thing, she wrote the book 100 places every woman should go in Italy, 500 places. She's got a lot of books out there. So look up Susan Van Allen.
Yeah, Suze Van Allen. We'll talk to Susan at some point too. Someone just asked, did Patty Heaton really cook the meals on the show? Nope, those were provided by the props department. Had to provide all of the food.
Yes.
Well, Phil came in. So Susan, you can tell your side too. As Susan said, I pitched a story to Phil after Monica told her. So
I was venting to Susan, who is my dear friend, who also went to Hofstra.
Right.
And we met in 1989, 88.
Yes.
And so I was venting to Susan about the marriage.
Let's. All right. I wish I had a mute button for your side because I feel like we're in danger of crossing. Either we need to do the series again. So here, now we're going to slow the story down. I was in the writer's room and Phil was complaining about a can opener. That's all I knew. Okay. Susan obviously was privy to the inside track. You bought a can opener, right? Let's go back. You tell us about the can opener.
Okay, I will tell you. Okay. A dear, dear friend of mine, Mrs. Claudia Guerra, her son was selling things for school, for a fundraiser for school, kitchen products and whatnot. Probably, I forget, not Pampered Chef, but some of these things. I probably bought several items to support the school, one of which was a can opener that opened differently. So when you do the can opener, it usually goes on the inside, and then sometimes there's like a little jagged thing. This can opener cut on the outside of the lip, below the lip, so then the whole thing lifted off, so then there was no jagged edge. Not a bad purchase.
So it's better.
And I supported a public school.
So you were helping children and you were preventing perhaps one of your kids from getting a sliced finger.
Yeah, and Phil.
Stan. Yes, exactly. Stan Zimmerman, another great writer. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
So then, Lily. So then, Phil comes. Let's slow it down. He comes home one day. He. What happens? How does it come into play?
Just so you know.
Just so
you know, dinner was always a challenge in our house. And you can ask Aaron Champion, Phil's assistant, for how many years, we don't even know, back from the Raymond days.
Aaron would be a good guest. Have you had Aaron
on? She would be great.
I have asked her. She's a little shy. So yes, I asked her 6 months ago, and we keep revisiting her coming on. But yes, I have asked her.
So Aaron, it was so hard to cook for Phil because obviously food is an obsession, and obviously
he's very
not an obsession for me. But I like feeding people, but I don't necessarily love cooking. So it's got to be family, whatever. It didn't matter what I would make. The man would. I had that for lunch. I had that yesterday. I don't know. So I could not win in the making dinner department. And I wasn't like Patty's character. I cared and I wanted positive reinforcement.
Yeah, I think
and he really
Patty's character was more like,
who cares?
If you don't like it, too bad.
Well, Patty was Deborah on the show, because not, Patricia Heaton, also Deborah. A food show. Yeah. So Deborah on the show, she had 3 kids. She was haggard, and she was getting beaten up by a mother-in-law.
Yeah,
nonstop.
across the street.
So she was at.
It makes sense.
Yeah, she was at her breaking point.
It just wasn't her. That's just not how she was.
I really wanted to do it all. I wanted to be able to make that nice food. So anyway, so then I gave up though. And especially after I was working on the show and the kids were getting older and I was, running a million things, I didn't care. And there were times where I'd be like, well, get what you want, or we'll order in, or we'll do whatever.
Please spit it out. Just say the story.
Oh, okay. So sorry. You're so right. Bottom line, he had to make his own tuna that night, and he tried to open it, and it didn't go well.
So you don't worry about the comments, Monica. You can take your time.
I just think it's funny.
Constructive criticism. I go on too long.
Right. But here, Monica, in the interest of storytelling, and I've said this to people, you could do an episode of Raymond where you go, it's one page. Deborah buys a can opener, and Ray has a problem with it. That's the end of the story. You have to. You want to hear the color of the story.
Oh,
so Phil comes home. Phil comes home from work, and he's hungry, and
I'm busy with the kids. I'm doing whatever.
Right.
And he's like, "What are we gonna have for dinner?" And whatever I say, it's not good enough. So he's like, "I'm just gonna make myself a tuna sandwich." And he goes to open the tuna, and the reaction to this can opener was as if someone had taken his brand new television and taken a rock and smashed the screen.
And then replaced it with a black and white tiny
radio,
TV.
So It was
Are
a
you
big
sitting there?
reaction.
Are you sitting there and you're watching him? Was there, did he want to know what is this at first?
Well, yes. What is this? And then it like became, it felt like a little attacking. And at one point, now I could have been a little hormonal. At one point I did kind of cry and say the words, I'm not stupid. I can buy a can opener. I really said that because
and you said he really said, was there something wrong with the old can opener? Like some of the lines were really things from the fight.
So great. So
that happens often.
Which of course Susan knew, because especially the part of me crying, because I think by the time I told her, I actually did think that was funny. That I said I'm not stupid.
Passage of time. Go ahead, Lily.
Someone said the dual perspectives in the story are so awesome. And I talked to my dad about this morning. It was very important that the dialogue stay the exact same and that it changes based on the perspective. So I like to think, because it was written by Susan Van Allen and Aaron Shore, that Aaron wrote, I don't know if it's true, that Aaron wrote Phil's point of view and Susan wrote Monica's. That's what it just sounds like, but I love that.
I don't that in general script writing, you definitely don't just go, you write the girl and I'll write the boy.
No, of course. But it just, we laughed over the story. Yeah, no, it just,
so let's go back. Let's go back.
Think about.
Yeah. So then, after Phil has it, when do you complain to Susan? That day, a few days later?
That I don't remember.
Okay. And so enough time had passed where you go, well, that's kind of funny that we had an argument over this can opener.
Oh, yeah. And as we always say, it's never about the can opener. It's never about bag of cheese or whatever. It is it called The Can Opener, you guys?
The episode is called The Can Opener, yeah.
And it's in season 4.
Yeah, pitched in season 3, I guess.
Right.
So I think, so for the tool of telling a story from both sides, where what your father said, Lily. Yes, Rashomon. Telling from both sides. So that was great. So now this was a good question, because you have to ignore, well, once you're here, some of the comments can be a little bit rude and others are very good. So this one was, did you have your feet up? Were you relaxing? Were you?
No.
Okay. So that's look, I'm just
but that's what's funny about it. You see the two extremes.
Yes.
I just think it's great that it's like the two extremes, and you know that Ray in the real version, right? So wasn't so like tuna juice, oh my god, like he didn't actually do that, but because it's from Deborah's perspective, that's what it said. You know what I mean?
I will say, in Philip's, his version of me like sitting reading a magazine is probably anytime I'm on the phone, because I obviously am not very concise with my storytelling, and so I like to give a lot of context when I'm working on things on the phone. So that he probably saw me as like not doing anything important, and I did think I know he spilled tuna juice on himself, and I know you've been with Phil. When anything happens that's a little bit uncomfortable, there's a very large reaction.
I will say, yes, I will say, wow, that was a lot of internal editing, Monica, as you sat there and thought. I will say, and I'll post it there, because I agree with you 100%. If things don't go Phil's way, at times he can react strongly. But one time we were walking through New York, and a bird went on his jacket as we were walking through New York, and and he couldn't have been calmer. He couldn't have been as
shocking.
Yes, as relaxed.
Because it was good luck.
What's that?
Because it's good luck.
It might be because it was good luck. It might be because there were too many witnesses. So now
he has no problem with witnesses.
Yeah. So Monica, when you watch it, okay, for those of you that haven't seen the episode yet, I know most of these people have seen every episode multiple times. It's a really, really fun thing to watch because of the two sides. And if you're in a marriage and you overhear your spouse talking about you to another person, you're like, that is not even close to what happened. So it's very rewarding, this episode, to watch it, because it's just the attitude that becomes so insanely over the top, where in the first scene, in the second time we see it, Deborah is preventing little Allie from leaving the family because she wants to run away. And you probably don't remember, but Deborah goes, "Don't run away." This episode, yeah. Everybody Loves Raymond. It's a series on CBS.
Wait, I don't remember that. That's at the beginning of the
scene where Deborah's telling her side. And so it's fine. But the characteristic is, in her taking, she is really angelic, and in Ray's take of it, she's just really ornery the entire time. Yeah. So with the same dialogues, but it's so rewarding to watch, because you're going, yes, you hear that you in real life, when you overhear your spouse talking about, you're like, what did they witness? What are they even talking about? Doesn't sound anything like that. So now, Monica and Lily,
yes,
when the episode airs, okay, first of all, does Phil come home at one point, or Susan maybe tell you? Does someone go, "Hey, we're doing a little, nothing big, just an episode of a hit TV show about your can opener"? Do you remember your first awareness that it was going to be an episode?
No, honestly, I'm glad you decided to do this one, because I kind of have, everybody over the years, it's been so long. We all talk about the PMS one because that's so funny. And that also had dialogue directly out of my marriage. But I think rewatching that again and thinking about it, and I think the reason it didn't stick so much is because it was such a moment, such a inconsequential exchange. It wasn't like a big dramatic fight, whereas the PMS one was pretty dramatic.
Right.
This was just kind of a funny little, annoyance. But that's what I meant in the beginning when I said it's good for the marriage. The whole thing was good for the marriage, because as we were going through those things, and the kids were different stages, and do those, when I would see those episodes, we always laughed. They were so funny. And whenever there was anything in our own life about it, it was like therapy. It was therapeutic. It was fun.
So I think two things from that. One,
I don't have the can opener.
You guys fought enough. No, you guys fought enough that you had enough inconsequential fights that you can't even remember all of the details. That's a good sign.
I think that's a good sign.
Yeah,
right?
It's a good sign. Yeah,
yes,
absolutely good sign. And then someone asked.
Yeah.
Sorry, someone asked. Go ahead.
The thing I loved the most about it, that I did remember, had nothing to do with the marriage. It had to do with where I was psychologically at that point in time. Like, I think I was so overwhelmed, and I was not feeling like I was handling things well in life. Yes. So that to me is what that episode was really about, because the fact that I would cry and say, "I'm not stupid, I can pick a can opener." Why that's so good is because, like, oh my God, this poor child, like how insecure was.
Yeah, well, how beaten up is she? Not, but just because at that point you had two kids, right? Philip is very busy.
Well, my oldest, Phil,
Yes, Phil is very busy. I was going to say he probably wouldn't be able to support you that much, because he is running a show, and that's a lot of responsibility.
It wasn't a tough time, in the way things are tough in the world, but we got overwhelmed.
Yeah, and you can't. I think, Monica, for the specificity of, you're a housewife with two kids, so right. Yes. Are there worse circumstances in the world? Of course there are. But as the mother, and I think that's the beauty of the episode, is as the housewife with two kids who's overworked, and then there's this breaking point of, I'm holding the whole house together. I'm keeping everything together. Right. And you go ballistic on me for a can opener. And so I'm so glad Phil isn't able to respond to this, because he just sounds terrible to me.
Well, and I will say, he obviously, that is the thing too. He did not go ballistic. In my mind, he's a very intense person. He's intensely happy most of the time. If
Yeah.
he's annoyed, it looks intense. Don't I say this to you all the time? Like, Daddy doesn't know what his face is doing. Like, she'll go,
Yes.
he's so mad at me. I'm like, no, he has no idea what his face is doing.
Yeah,
He doesn't.
looks
Yeah.
He
angry
just
all the
looks
time.
angry.
Which, by the
So-
way,
You
must be
can't
a
take it personally.
huge shock to people who watch him on Somebody Feed Phil, because he literally never looks angry in
Right.
that show. So
Well, he's being
And that's a huge
an ambassador for everything on Somebody Feed Phil, and he's
Right.
eating amazing food and traveling. And so,
yeah, but even when people meet him, like he's like, "Hello!" Like he's so excited and happy. So I'm sure we sound crazy that we would assume he's angry
But I
at
have-
anything.
Yeah, that is.
wait,
know?
the nicest guy in the world,
Right.
the
Okay.
host of Somebody Feed Phil. You're telling me? I find this hard to believe. I really
Can I tell
do.
What just happened? Okay, listen.
What just?
What time?
And
is it?
then-
Half hour ago, before I came up here.
You already said.
I did about the oranges? Oh, I did? Or
No,
you-
you didn't. You did not.
Okay.
You
so
said you had a
literally,
fight. You said
I'm
you had a
dealing with
fight.
Something. Oh, it wasn't a fight, though. It wasn't a fight. It was a silent Charlie Chaplin mime of a fight. I was literally
He's gonna
dealing
be so
with
annoyed.
a kind of a big issue on the
Yes.
phone. So for him, if you're on the phone, you're on the phone. But I'm usually,
But if he's on the phone,
running
he's
the universe.
on.
So I was having a pretty big thing on the phone. And he comes up to me with 2 oranges that are mold on the bottom. And he's like,
He's gonna get yelled at.
now the old me
Yes.
would feel like this is going to sound really 1950s women. I get
Let
it.
him down.
I have on some level felt like, because that's like, it feels accusatory.
Sure.
And then I'm like, in my head, then I just think, great. So yeah, ooh, yeah, look, they're bad. Throw them out. And I now go, oh. But there's always that little, but that has more to do
So you don't
with
cry
me
anymore.
and my
That's the
overblown
difference.
sense of, 1950s
Responsibility and guilt, yeah.
But
The-
that's
the-
why you cried. That's why you cried when
That's
he
right.
didn't like the can opener, because you were
Right.
like, he's saying he doesn't like
Right.
me and my decision. Just like now with the oranges, he doesn't like them. It's not that he doesn't like me.
Or things that I did there. And he would think I'm so insane for thinking that. All he's
Yeah.
thinking is, my God, these oranges went bad.
Yeah.
His face
In
is so,
his world,
yeah.
that is,
Well, so for you,
How dare
Can't
you
we
let
have
those
anything
oranges
nice?
go bad?
yeah, so for you, there's an implied incompetence that you're in charge of the
But
freshness
I
of the
think-
oranges.
right. And I think this is where the world is hard, because I think,
Mom.
Jackie, I think it's all how we take things personally. I think this is why there's so many problems in the world that we misinterpret what someone's saying, or we're insecure, or we're having an overblown sense of responsibility that's out of balance, and then
Yeah.
we're blaming the other person.
I think, Monica,
Got a lot
if you take a step back,
of-
that's a funny comment. Orange, you sorry that happened. Very funny. So Monica,
So much more confidence.
if you take a step back, if you get rid of those insecurities, meaning,
Yeah.
let's say somebody accused you of not being social or talking enough. Okay?
Can we go back?
You-
Who just said that? Just throw them out. Yeah, who said that?
Janet
Mitchell Lambert. That is exactly my point.
Yes.
If I found the orange, I would just throw it out. There's something about the husband that
Needing to
needs
show
say,
No, there's an implied incompetence on your part by letting
Or there's
oranges under your watch go
guilt
bad.
or responsibility that
Yes.
you did this.
Yeah,
or
you're-
that you need.
Yeah, you're a bad.
Why does
Need to complain.
why does
He need to complain to Monica. Oh my god.
that is
Yes.
deep,
Go
like
ask
you
him.
deep, you
There's an implied incompetence on your part for letting those
know.
oranges go bad.
It is, and it
all right,
maybe
let's try-
ladies and gentlemen, because that thing can go both ways. People in general, it can be subconscious, because maybe because
maybe-
roles happen
wait,
when you cohabitate.
Maybe he
All right.
just wanted to show you, like, look what happened. I'm going to throw these out.
I know.
You know?
See?
Yeah. So Monica, Monica, since this is
Tom, shut it down.
yeah,
Shut
I
it down.
can't mute your side.
Stop.
So Wow, someone called My Four Boys One. I thought that was Patty Heaton's husband because their company is called Four Boys Production.
Okay.
Oh, no,
Monica,
I think it's Christine Porter. Oh no, maybe she's the voice. Sorry.
so Monica, since this has devolved into therapy, let's talk about if you asked Phil and said, Phil, why do you feel the need to show me the orange that has gone bad? You don't show
We need
me.
to stop this.
Yes. So if he said, and what do you think he would say to that?
Oh, he would be like, he would not be able to fathom that I'm still thinking about it. He would not necessarily.
But it was only an hour ago. Let's say at the time, if you said,
Right.
why are you showing me the bad oranges?
But this
It
is a
would
good
be- yeah.
example of like he didn't bring the can opener story to the room. Like he didn't think it was that big of a deal. He doesn't think about it. Suzanne Allen brought it because she mentioned to her. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't think about it as much.
I heard a study that when men are locked in a room with no input or anything, they think about sex and sports. And when women are put into a room with no phone or anything, they replay dialogue that they've had with men or people. They just replay dialogue, and men don't so much. So it's a kind of, yeah. But I'm saying if you said, Phil, why are you showing me those oranges? I don't show you apples when they've gone bad. Would he say, well, the apples aren't my responsibility. They're yours as the 50s housewife getting through it.
Oh,
Now,
geez,
because as usual, we're going to run out of time. Let's go back to the
There's
can
something
opener
I do
episode.
There's
When we
something I want to talk about from the can opener episode. But go
What's
ahead,
that?
you ask your question, and then I'll bring up my point about the can opener.
Yeah,
episode.
you're not going away, Lily. Even though we only see your left eye half the time.
Well, it's really about her, so I feel like she should be in it more, and then I'll jump in if you need.
You keep her. So when you watched the episode, Monica,
Yes.
do you remember watching the episode?
Yes.
And
Like
what was
for
your
the
Oh,
first
I
time?
loved it.
for the
I
first
loved
time? Yes. And what was your feeling when you watched it?
it was just funny, and I loved it. I loved watching, Ray be bad and me being over, because like I said, it wasn't emotional like the PMS one, because the PMS one he had never resolved or discussed with me, which is probably why he didn't even think to bring it up as a thing, because it wasn't his story so much. You know what I mean? He was there, he was part of it, he found it funny. It didn't have that same, like we'd been through something. It was just like all the Everybody Loves Raymonds to me, just a really funny, good episode of television that happened to be like like kind of an everyman experience, because we all go through these things, and the Rashomon aspect of it is really funny. I think I really did almost I think Patty is so great. I mean, that character of Deborah, and she's such a great actress, comedian, that her crying, it's like hilariously flattering, almost like her crying. I'm not stupid. I just loved that.
Well,
and you didn't. Sorry, Lily. You didn't for a second go. Well, you felt it was pretty fairly played.
It was a perfect use of my life for an entertaining episode.
Great, Lily. Go ahead.
When we watched it last night, the two of us sat and watched it so that we would know what we were talking about here.
Right.
Yeah, we rewatched.
She literally turned around. So she was sitting like in a chair and I was on the couch, and she literally was like, this isn't even funny to me right now. I'm literally annoyed. Like she was right back into how she felt with it. Obviously she was like laughing all the way through, but she really, I could see it, like took her back to like, no. He literally said that to me. How does he get off saying something like that? Like, and it just shows like it really captured the feeling. And
maybe that's how I felt it, and I remember it differently.
Maybe, I don't know, but it's funny.
It's clearly post-traumatic stress, because it's 20 years ago, the can opener thing. And then the question is, after now I'm just going to run through questions. The question about the can opener, did you replay, like, I know it's such a small thing, but do you remember him going, I'm throwing this in the garbage? Or because I had the same can opener and I loved it.
It was so funny because that was such an incident, and that I think we probably still had the other can opener. I honestly don't know what happened to that can opener. I think I'd
love to find it. I'll go through.
I think I I think what happened was I finally admitted it wasn't a great can opener. I think I had trouble.
Oh
with
my
it.
God,
Well,
a sequel's coming.
I
That's
I
so
loved
exciting.
I loved that can opener. The problem was sometimes it didn't work because I had the exact same. They became
Oh, okay,
popular
there
for a
you
few
go. I
years.
think that was a problem.
Yeah,
So
but
now we're back.
yes.
Well,
So
there's a whole other part of the episode that I feel like we haven't talked about at all. That's the jar of fat. That was such a huge moment, and like it showed that it happens in every generation, and it's one of the biggest Frank yelling moments in the show. Like it's really intense and powerful.
yeah, that was
What
a powerful.
episode was that?
Mom, it was in the same episode.
Oh, it was.
It,
Yeah.
a little embarrassing, but no one heard that. So I think that might have been Peter Boyle's greatest speech, if not, the top 3 of the entire series, because he
It
was.
literally gave me chills when I watched it.
Yeah,
It's crazy how
and
intense it gets.
Yes, and if you see the photo that I posted where Ray is jumping up in the air, and when you watch the episode, you don't. Unfortunately, it's only a 2-shot of Ray and Brad, and so you don't see how high he is. You see it in the photo, but you don't see it in these series.
And
but
close. Yeah.
It's so much energy, and it's such a great moment. I mean, it was just such a great, execution of that fight. And it's someone, I'm just going back. Someone said, was the baggage episode about you? No, PMS episode was
Tucker,
more. And
PMS.
Someone asked,
that was Tucker and Eileen baggage.
Yeah. But the PMS episode, someone asked a question about, because that was very much just because we're going to talk about that on another thing. But just to answer a quick question, did Phil try and get you pills to help you not have those mood swings?
Oh, he was always suggesting my doll.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
That episode, that's one. So, and then of course you're hormonal, so you're like, but it's also, it captured, that's the thing. This was the can opener was more, I mean, it was more of a Frank and Marie like drama. And at the end you're like, yeah, okay, it's fine about the can. You realize wasn't on that level of emotional. It was just kind of like a real slice of day in the life, right?
Yes.
But for Frank and Marie, it hit a deeper truth. But PMS was a deeper truth for us because he just, that line, I think when she says, it's just, I put up, you're annoying all month. I just can't handle it at this time.
Right.
And all of those things were so how it felt. Like everything was accurate.
Well,
so it was emotional because it felt like he understood.
Yeah.
In life, and Anna and I used to always say, you get it in life.
Anna Romano, Ray's wife. Anna Romano is Ray Romano's wife in real life. And Monica, you're going to come on again with, and we'll talk completely about the PMS episode. So now
that I'm in menopause.
Oh boy.
Overshare on
So
Instagram.
Lily, can you come in again? So I'm just going to help for people just joining. This is Everybody Loves Raymond 360. I'm Tom Caltabano. I was a writer on the entire time of the run. And that's Monica, who played Amy on the show. And sitting next to Monica is Lily, who is their daughter. So Lily Rosenthal is their daughter. And they're related by being mother and daughter.
We could do, why don't we do, maybe we should also do so that they can meet Ben. Maybe we should,
the angry family.
Family.
Absolutely. I would love to talk.
Halloween.
Yes, everybody. But I'm just, for a lot of people are like, who is the girl sitting next to Monica? That's why I wanted to refresh people. Yeah. Lily, do you, when you watch it, because there was a question before about, do you watch any episodes? When they come on, let's say, and watch it, and you happen to see it, do you have a perspective of like, wow, this is really funny? Because now your father once told me that you were a much bigger fan of Friends. Talking to Lily.
Oh my God.
Lily,
I wouldn't say I'm a much bigger fan of Friends. I think that you don't want to watch the show that your parents made so much, so you watch like the other ones. I don't know. But Friends was really popular amongst my friends, so
Yeah,
I watched it.
By the way, there's no shame in liking Friends. It's a giant show, and it's also much more of your age group. So if you're at age 14 to 25, you're not clamoring to watch a family marriage, sitcom. So
Right.
Oh,
someone asked if I have a favorite episode. I think I like the snow day one where you all dance.
Oh, I love that because I danced with Peter. That makes me cry when I watch it. I'm so grateful.
Oh, and the wedding. Her wedding is like one of my favorites. That's when I was so excited when I saw her in that wedding dress.
Next time you're on, we'll talk about the wedding. So we have to talk about PMS, the wedding episode, etc.
Did we do the wedding episode? No.
So let's talk then. Just the can opener to me is the perfect example of a small fight that ended up being a perfect episode. Nobody got hurt in it. You got to tell both sides of the story, which was phenomenal, right? And so now, just because there's so many fans, because we've talked about this before, Monica, when people see you, do you get the, oh my God, I loved you in Everybody Loves Raymond, or do they go, you look familiar, but I don't know where?
It's a lot of,
it's been very sad during COVID not to get my love. But from, what's amazing, mostly New York City, I get a lot, like in the subway or on the street.
Honestly,
and it's
every time we're at an airport, it's the airport security.
Airport security.
They're the cutest because they'll be like looking at the passport or the ticket, and then they'll look up, and then you'll see it happen. It's so cute.
It's so great. I love it. But I'm getting older. Getting a little bit older, Tom.
Yes.
And, so
you look pretty much the same.
I think I'll pretty much start getting. That's very kind.
Yeah, there's a lot of comment about Amy peeing when she laughs.
That's true. Even more so. I could do commercial.
I went on a date once, and the guy, we were like just talking about stuff, and I showed a picture of like us. And he was like, "Oh my God, Amy pees when she laughs." And I was like,
"Oh wow!" And so, needless to say, you're single.
Yes, I'm single.
Monica, just because you can make someone say, here, Princess Christine says, "My dream would be to run into you in person." Fingers crossed. Princess Christine, where are you in the world? Where are you in the world? Because it's not out of the question to run into.
Yes. I go all over the world now with Philip.
Yes, that's true.
When we all come back, I hope everybody is staying safe, and we're being so careful. We're so grateful that we can be in our little pod and still get to see everybody and talk to everybody.
Yes. Princess.
San Diego, beautiful. Yes, you'll run into me.
Your face when Marie interrupted the wedding, that was priceless.
Yes.
Yes.
That was Philip. Philip was like, "Don't move. Just hold that face."
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. The brilliance of Phil came out in the notes, and nobody will ever see that. They see the end result, but they don't see how that happened on the set. And so
you watch like bloopers or anything.
Tom, Tom, you took a beautiful, amazing photograph of just that, of Phil giving me notes in the wedding. I'm there in my wedding dress and my face is like this. I'm looking so intently. People would say I look like I was angry, but no, I was like, it was such gold because you knew he would make you look brilliant. And in that photograph, not only is Georgia Engel sitting in the pew looking at me like with so much love in her eyes, my dad, my real dad,
yeah,
in that picture too.
Oh, okay.
But there is something about like Phil's notes. Like when I have an audition and I'll be like practicing, he will sit with me and like go through the sides and he'll say, "Right, so I think that this line is just, like," and it's like he's back in that sitcom mode. Yeah, it's great. It's really great.
So I think for those of you that don't even when you're rehearsing the scenes, you have to work out blocking. You have to, meaning where does the actor stand? Like when you're watching it just seems so organic, but you have to get to that point so that you don't go, okay, they're all in the kitchen, and it looks like they're all standing over here, and they should be here. So all that mechanics has to be done. But then in the week-long process, there'd be notes sessions where Phil was able to take scenes that didn't necessarily get big laughs, and just by giving notes without any writing changes, turn it into this great scene. And so we would see that time after time. And a lot of other shows, they would go, well, let's go back and rewrite it. And then the cast now has a brand new written scene. They never get used to it. So it becomes this domino effect of bad. And so with Phil, you had him pulling all these scenes together with his notes. So I'm going back to a question before, someone said, did you feel like you had to work harder because you got in because you're married to the executive producer? Like, did you feel a pressure, like, I better deliver because they're going to be watching me going, yeah, of course.
I remember the insecurity. I would have felt that without that. I don't know. Honestly, the cast was so great and the writing was so great that I don't know. It's a memory, it's a long time ago now. And I'm just so insecure. It didn't matter. I was always insecure anyway. So that was just something that always came along with me for the ride. But I definitely felt in very good hands. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like I need to prove myself I probably did. I probably was, crapping my pants every table read. But if I just stayed focused on the material and what I knew about that character, and then, I would have never been able to do it with my friend, Patty Heaton had a stand-in. You should interview her sometime, Sarah Jane Hale. And we had an amazing dialogue coach in Elizabeth Herring, and she would work primarily with Doris and Peter. And the others, they didn't really need it. They didn't need as much rehearsal. In fact, I was always a wreck, and I wanted to rehearse all the time. So Sarah Jane would work with me.
Yeah.
And I think that made me able to really focus on the work itself.
Yeah, I'll post some pictures of Sarah. Sarah is the stand-in. There's a lot of confusion about stand-ins from people because I'll post a stand-in is somebody who stands in when the first team, the actors, aren't really needed. So they need to be approximately the same height and same coloring as the main cast. And when they're putting in lights and figuring out shots, the stand-ins are in there. So Sarah is the stand-in for Patty Heaton from season 1.
I think, right?
Lily, when I'm sorry, what I don't.
I'm really not good to talk about.
Lily, do you want to get a drum also and hit that while people are talking? What was your question? What was your question, Lily?
She was talking about Brad stand-in. Remember?
Brad stand-in was in he was in the guy. Thanksgiving episode. He brings in Thanksgiving stuff.
I loved his wife. Remember they met at Tree Toppers Club or something?
Okay, I'm sorry. We have
So we're talking about Joe. We're talking about Joe, Brad stand-in, who has to be 6'8", and his wife met at a thing called the Tree Toppers, which is a group for tall people. So there you go. That's
no way.
They were lovely.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
They were
so Joe Dornberger.
Family.
Yes, Joe Dornberger. And so I'll have Joe. By the way, everybody's invited. The biggest problem is a lot of people aren't on Instagram. And so Scrovan, Lou Schneider, a lot of the people are not on Instagram, so we can't talk to them. So I was going to say, before we run out of time, we have about 6 minutes left. First of all, it's always so much fun when you guys are on together.
It's so much fun. It's a nice way to spend time together and time with you and
to catch up. Yeah. Yes, a group for tall people. Yes, the Tree Toppers, and I'll post a picture of them visiting the set where there were women and men who were like 6'5", all lined up and taking pictures with Brad Garrett. So
I don't even remember that. I must not have been there.
Well, you might have been there, but they would come out. They would let them out of the tall quadrant. No, they came on stage after, and I took pictures. I took pictures of them, and I did just find. I'll send it to you. I'll send a picture to you that I just found of with your mom from the show, not your real mom, your TV mom. Yeah, with Georgia Engel.
Oh, and with Georgia. Well,
yeah, which is phenomenal.
Sent me a picture with my mom too, because my mom got to be on the set as well. But dear Georgia.
Yeah,
she passed away a year ago. Mm-hmm.
So your father was in the wedding episode. Your mother was in the episode where they go to see the speaker who has the eye patch, and so I have a great shot of them, etc. Now, Lily, people are asking, do you have an interest in the production aspect of the show, or what is your, because you are an actress and you have been in.
Sorry,
Someone
when you
just said
say production aspect of the show, do you
of
mean
of Everybody Loves Raymond, of because you're an actress. What was the show that you just did that Rick Marotta said I watched, and all of a sudden there's Lily Rosenthal at the end of the series.
Goliath.
What is it?
Goliath?
Goliath. Yes, you were in Goliath. So you are an actress. For the
Yes.
people in Turkey watching who don't know your day-to-day goings on, you are an actress. You
Yes.
have landed parts, etc. But are you interested in production in any way, or
Writing. I'm writing right now. I love it. Oh, thank you, Mom. And hopefully directing one day. That's really what I went to college wanting to do. And then once I got there, I took an acting class and a writing class, and I was like,
yeah,
I love all of
But
it.
that was Philip. Philip, a writer, an actor.
Yeah, but
yeah,
it's the same.
My dad always said, like, if you're an actor, take a writing class. If you're a writer, take a directing class. It's all branches off the same tree, and it just makes you stronger in the other departments and gain appreciation for the others,
Yeah, and I think that showed in Philip's history in theater doing the sitcom. He had brought so much of that because basically a sitcom in front of a live audience is doing live theater. Lily and Monica, I need to get a nice screen grab for this. Can you guys give me your best face? Yeah.
That's good. I clouded earrings.
That sounded like a Botox hello or something. Let me see. Yes, Ben is an actor.
It's been taken, so you don't need to pause anymore.
An actor too.
Oh, yeah. Ben is an actor as well.
Yes.
All right. So next time we talk, I would like to do the PMS episode, the wedding episode, right? We have quite a few episodes that are to be discussed. And also, there's a few things that are just spattered throughout the series that aren't necessarily an entire episode based on a fight of yours, but it's something that's within them. Susan Van Allen, please come on. Yes, I
We love you,
would love
Susan
to talk to you.
Van Allen.
Someone asked, do you still have live studio audiences like pre-go? No, there are no live audiences right now for sitcoms.
Love you, Jackie.
And they're just shutting down. Yeah. Any other hellos before? Hello, Wendell Poons. Hello, Trish. Yeah. Hello, my cousin. Yes. Look at all. I'm just trying to get any questions. Does Joe?
Love
sorry.
You, Suze.
They love you as a cast member.
Thank you, everybody. This is so lovely in these COVID times to be able to spend time. And it's reminisce and be together. I so appreciate everybody.
Hello, Pendleton in Lancaster, PA. I think Monica and Lily, what this has become, aside from just let's tell the stories because they're fun, it's fun to catch up. This online family, it's a comforting thing, I think.
It is so
to know.
nice.
Hello, Sri Lanka. Okay.
Wow. Oh
the frog.
God.
Yes.
That I'm pretty. That is so nice.
Oh my
So
God.
Wait.
Stop.
Yes, and Monica. Hello, Texas. Hello, Monica. Is there anything that you miss in particular from the show? Thank you, Wendell Poons. I love you, Monica.
I'm just so grateful we got what we got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I knew that when it was happening. I knew it. Things like that don't come along all the time. They don't last forever. You're lucky if you get them. And
But from the day to day, I watched an interview with Lucille Ball, and she was on TV from basically like 1950 until like 1975.
But that's like Patty. Look at Patty.
Patty cannot stop working. Yeah.
Everybody. I mean,
but
Ray's career. It's very different. I feel like I do miss an audience. I miss being part of a team like that. And I love the theater, and I hope, when the theaters open up again, that I get to recreate that with other great, amazing, talented people. And
yes.
I think I will. I think, God willing,
I'm reading the comments.
You guys, I
People
gotta
are
go. In
so
fact,
nice.
one of the things I'm doing, I gotta go start a rehearsal with my friend Rob Weiner. I still do. I'm working on. I might as well tell you. I'm just for myself. I'm working on Samuel Beckett's Happy Days.
Oh, not the one with the fawns. Yeah.
Yeah, no. This is because it's a perfect thing to work on in COVID. And Rob Weiner is a brilliant director, and so we're rehearsing.
Thank you for
And
your.
is he based in Texas still?
Yeah, he's in Marfa, Texas.
Okay. Somebody wrote, "Hello, Pebbles. The dysfunctional Barones needed a sweet and sane person like Amy." Now, that could be debated, the sanity of Amy, because Patty, Deborah's character, was very sane, but driven insane by the family.
Right.
And I think the next time we should talk about a little bit about Helen, about your in-laws.
And we can talk about the moment they go into the home, because somebody mentioned the refrigerator thing. I mean, that was hysterical. So,
yes.
All right.
Next
I have
time.
to go now, but I love you guys. And Tom, I love you the most for putting this together.
Tom, you're great.
I'll talk to you guys again, and I'll post another picture. Thank you. And hopefully in another month or so, you'll get the call from the agent and say, "Can you be there?"
I'm not going anywhere. Anytime.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Love you, Tom.